Hi guys, it's Aegis here. So this time I'm here with a premium deck profile, and as you have seen in the thumbnail, it is related to Bavsargra, which is also using the equipment and also using the Vanquisher cards, which it is an idea on Facebook that I saw that someone saying this and this can be combo. Is it working? So I did try to get it to work. I tried. Uh, it's not like a competitive level deck, it's more like a fun deck, and this is basically kind of a skeleton to give you a way. If you want to play it this way, this is how you can do it. So uh, feel free to upgrade into your own version, and feel free to also comment down below, let me know what your lists are, and we can discuss further on there. But first, let's see what I have. First, starter, we are using the Bavsargra right line starter because we do need the card for the great one to actually work. So for unfortunately this time, since we're trying to focus on that, so we need to use this starter instead of anything else. And then of course we have four of our Bavsargra. This will be your main Vanguard. You don't need to care about too much that her skill, as long as she helps you equip something, help you use your order, help you pull some stuff out, create one or lower, which can be sometimes a very good attackers, and you do have a chance to use a second skill sometimes, not always, depending on how you proceed with the game. But if you are aiming for the combo that we are going to do, that with the cards that I'm going to show you in a bit, then you probably won't have that much soul to soul blast. So do be careful, but she's there. And of course, we do have our equipments, which is 4 of the sword and 1 of the shield. Now, I haven't actually tested out the spear and the gun yet, so this is basically just what I have from the starter. And we usually won't drop the shield anyway, so 1 shield is enough. And the key is still the sword, so nothing too fancy about having different versions, but the sword is a must, because you need the sword to throw 1 damage, and that's the key. Then I have 2 of the sparking, because in order to do the combo that we want to do, we need to bind a lot of cards. And sparking, as long as you reach 4, you can auto get to bind a card from your opponent's drop zone face up every single turn, and you can soul charge and counter charge, so helps you a lot. And you can see here we don't have any XL units, so we won't be getting any XL circles with this deck. This is something that you need to know. But the key is to try to bind as much cards as possible. And during my playtest, unfortunately, the matchup that I have faced is basically the worst matchup. Is against Regalia, which they don't drop a lot of cards into the drop zone, and all the cards on the field is basically you can't target them. So it went really hard for me to actually do the combo. But if you are facing a deck that is not that kind of protective, then you probably can pull the combo off a lot easier. And then in order to increase binding cards, we have martial arts. Then you just need to counter last one and so last one to bind a front row unit. Easy. And as long as you bind 2 cards in total and have GB1 generation break 1, which means you have 1 face of G units on your G zone, it becomes a 12k attacker. 12k. So still help you against a lot of protect and XL clans. Force, you can't do anything about it, but at least it's more than 9k, so sometimes you can hit some 10k regards a lot easier. That is also already happening. And then next I have 3 of the grid cell, because she can help you kind of generate opponent's drop by attacking multiple units. And as long as she is being attacked or being selected by opponent's card effects, they need to bind 1 card face up and redrop. So this is another card to help you increasing the total number of bind cards for your opponents. And then I have even here for counter charge and to draw, because in this deck the ideal is to deal 2 damage in total without like actually attacking hit, but in order to prevent that, your opponents sometimes want to take the hit. So here with even that, you can apply the pressure to let them choose what they want to. Do they want to block your attacks and they just take some hits, extra hits, or they want to take your Vanguard attack so that you can draw and counter charge, even though you need to lose your even, but I think that's fine. But being able to counter charge is very, very big in this deck. And then quickly entering Great Ones, we have the Great One right line. That is something that you want to hard mulligan into. So if you don't see it in your opening 5 hands, just shuffling them all and hope you get one. If you have one, make sure you keep it, because you need to write the Great One on top of the Great Zero to Soul Blast 1 to get the equipment. Basically just it. Other than that, the plus 2k doesn't matter at all. Maybe sometimes does, but most of the time do not. The reason I'm running 4 is to increase the rate I have them in my opening hand for my first ride, get the equipment, that's all. And then 2 of the Demolition Dragon, so to bind cards to draw cards, basically it. And then Great Charger, depending on the situation, maybe sometimes we want to go with Sparking first, maybe we're going to go with Bavsargra first, but at least we have a chance to search, and even search our equipments, because we can get up to 1 graveyard card into our hand. So our equipment is also a graveyard card, so you can also pick them up. And Smash Boxer Dragon. So this card is also a draw and counter charge card, and also basically is your Vanguard protection when you're on G units, when you're on Sparking, or maybe when you're supporting these as a regards, then you can give them protections. Sometimes those kind of stuff are quite annoying, so having some kind of protection is always great. And very quick, we actually gain the triggers. Now Dragon Empire over trigger, because we can withstand, we can do more attacks. Even if our stuff failed, we can still kind of do something else. So very good here to use. Then 3 of the soul in crit, because we do want to have souls. And in here I actually have 3 proxies, but I have 4 of the strike for the crit, just to make sure I can easily strike, because you do need to strike if you turns in order to actually do the combo. Is not easy, but you don't always want to drop your equipment, your Bavsargra, or your Vanquisher, so having something as a replacement is quite important here. And then 4 draw PGs, because I draw their PGs, unless you really want to use the Great One PGs, which I don't quite see the need in this build, but if you want to, feel free to adjust your ratio, but yeah, 4 I think is good enough. And then 2 of the Heal Guardians and 2 of the old heal that you can bind it to counter charge and soul charge, because counter charge and soul charge is important, and I don't always need the Heal Guardians. They are good before you run into grade 3, but once you go to grade 3, they are basically the same. if you're using G guard, so doesn't matter too much. Now, entering the G zone quickly, and then we will explain a little bit of combos on the things that you can do. First, 2 VMAX, because 1 is probably not enough. VMAX is your extra damage enabler and helping you to clean board, but you do need to reach Thunder Strike 5, so you do need to bind quite a lot of cards, and you do need to flip quite a bit of Vanquisher in order to hit that much of the target. If not, if you only have like 1 to 2 Vanquisher open, then you probably have a hard time. So you do need a lot of Vanquishers. And that's why we have 4 of the V-Buster, that this card can just flip another copy of itself to help you increase the bind cards from your opponents, field and drop to bind zone. Very easy to use. You can just spam it for like 2 times and such. Then you already have 4. Then when you use VMAX, you can at least attack 4 Regards and Vanguard together. So this is a must. And then 2 of the stun burst. This is basically my plan B. It's like when I see I don't have much of a future that I can do my combos, then I will go to stun burst. And because stun burst will go back to the G zone, which means your Bavsargra can basically use her skill to also pop your opponent's front row if they still have any units left, and you get a crit. So you still get to do your thing while using stun burst to bind a lot of cards and trying to draw yourself some cards. That's basically it. And you can even just use your stun burst to flip some of your V-Buster to kind of increasing the speed you turn Vanquisher G units face up while trying to do something else. So it's another backup option. And then GB8, which hopefully you don't need to go that far, hopefully. So but it is a card that can help you just place on, wipe the whole board, and just be happy. So just let it be there. And then 1 Seraph Drachma, and then 1 of the Gilgard. Gilgard is to help you to have an easier time to stride, and you get to do the board wipe. You get counter charge by a lot. Drachma is just another way to help you guarantee you win, or get rid of a lot of stuff that is annoying. And since we don't actually care about GB that much, only a little bit cards, and your Bavsargra is not even a G era Vanguard, so even if your G zone is gone, your Bavsargra, as long as you have equipment, you can still get things so like going on. So yeah. And then with G guards, 2 of the dragons, 2 of the G flip, and 1 of the noble. So it's kind of basics that this is your key high power defense. This is something that you're trying to pop more units, and this one is another card that you want to protect yourself with higher defensive power. So basically it. Now it's time to tell you what we want to achieve. For some people you might know, but for anyone that who have no idea, what I am going to achieve with this deck is basically get your opponents to 4th damage and win with the sword and your VMAX. Why? It's because when you have a Bavsargra and you equip to this and you strike into your VMAX, and say you have like all these face up 4 and your opponent's on 4 damage, then you swing with this card to make sure your opponents have no regards left on the field. Then what you do next is, first they probably will guard because you might open a crit or anything, so they guard it. They stay at 4, and then you use the sword effect, deal 1 damage to your opponents. They get to 5, and if they really have nothing left, then you can use your 3-max skill to deal them 1 damage to go to 6. So it's kind of a, just say I attack, I might get crit, and I have 2 damage waiting for you to take. That's basically it. Or even if opponents choose to take it, they go to 5, and you can still use your VMAX to deal 1 damage to get to close the game. So it is a funny move, but in order to do that, you need to counter blast 2 from here, and you need to counter blast 2 from here. So there's a total of 4 counter blasts, and that's why you can see like me using the heal to counter charge, using this to counter charge, using this to counter charge, using this to counter charge. You can see a lot of counter charger, and that's why. Because in order to do that, you need to at least bind 5 cards from your opponent's drop or field or anywhere. Total bind 5 cards. Have 4 counter blasts. Have at least 3 to 4 other grade 4 Vanquisher open face up in order to do that. So there's a lot of work to be done, and so far I did pull it off like once or twice max in like 10 games. So don't aim for this. It's like if I normally play and it just get to that point, go for it. But don't like I am going this, and okay, I just have 4 counter blasts, let's try it. No, you rather maybe sometimes even use your stun burst to make sure they suffer, they wipe their hand or whatever, and win from there rather than trying to do this. That's basically my suggestions, even though the deck idea is actually quite interesting. But if you are trying to save your counter blast because you want to use 4 counter blast to do this and give up all the chances you have to win, I'd rather not. So it's a fun idea, and with DVD04 cards, probably we can upgrade this to something a little bit different. But I think the most like the playstyle idea is here. So feel free to explore your own version, or maybe if you have already explored one, then feel free to let me know your idea, and I can also test it out. Because after so many games, what actually win me games most of my time is actually going to stun burst, maybe like 2 times with 1 or 2 times of this, then I probably already can win if I play normally. So the deck itself is not bad at all, because you get plus 10k from Resort, which is quite easy, and you get 10k extra is sometimes very big, because you go into your strike turn is normally 28, but now it's 38 without any boost, without you doing anything. So I think it's something worth to give it a go, try it out, and see if you like it. Yeah, so that's about this deck profile, and hopefully I can start getting some fight videos up very soon, because I do need to probably wait until the weekend and go to test out some DPD04 decks that I still haven't tested out. I still have a lot. I only tested one, but I will get them done and then put out some fight videos, put out some deck profiles, and you can see how I went, like different builds that I went, like need to adjust a little bit more, then you can see the difference from the deck fight and then to the deck profile. Yeah. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.